Hi everyone and welcome to Research Simplified. I'm Professor Phoebe. I have a master's in molecular biosciences and a doctorate in public health, specializing in health research methodologies. And I'm here to share with you practical tips, real examples, and bite-sized insights to help you make sense of what research is. In today's video, I will describe to you the different quantitative variable types. If you recall in my previous video on the thing with biostatistics, I made a quick mention on how there are different types of quantitative variables. Remember how I said that I would talk more about them? Well, here it is. This is the video where I'm going to do just that. So let's get started. First off, what in the world is a variable? So the word variable is something that I feel like I took for granted a lot being in academia for so long and being surrounded by researchers. When I talk to my friends and family who are not really a part of the academic community, they don't use the word variable as much as I do. So trying to figure out how to explain what it is when it's something that I use on a day-to-day basis was a little bit challenging for me. So hopefully this definition that I give today will make the cut, and if it's still confusing as heck, then leave a comment below with lots of complaints. So a variable is basically anything that can be different between each person or each thing. Yeah. For instance, someone's age, their favorite ice cream flavor, all of these things can vary from person to person or even thing to thing. That is why they're called variables, because they vary. Now, there are two types of variables, quantitative and qualitative. In today's video, we will focus only on the quantitative variable types. Because remember, my goal here with this channel is to give you bite-sized pieces of information. Quantitative variables are variables where the answers are numbers. These numbers are something that you can either measure or count. If you can add, subtract, or average it, it is probably a quantitative variable. There are two main types of quantitative variables, and that's discrete variable and continuous variables. Discrete variables use only whole numbers, meaning these are numbers that you can count. So their values jump from one number to one number, and any of the between numbers just don't make any sense. Confused yet? Well, here's an example. You can have 2 pets, but you cannot have 2.5 pets. Yeah. Now, a continuous variable, on the other hand, can be of any value and it will still make sense. It can be decimals, it can be fractions, because this is something that you can measure. They're not just the whole numbers, they're everything along the range. Here are a few examples to kind of make sense of what I just said. The height of a person is a continuous variable because a person can be 170 centimeters or they can be 170.251674 centimeters tall, and it would still make sense. Another example would be the time it takes to finish a race can be 10.56 seconds, and it would still make sense. And the last example I have for you for continuous variables is how much water can fit in a bottle. It can be 1.25 gallons. So to quickly summarize, discrete variables are numbers that you can count, and continuous variables are numbers that you can measure. If you know the difference, then you can analyze them and use the data the correct way. Counting something like the number of pizzas being delivered is handled differently than measuring something like how much each pizza weighs. So to wrap things up, variables are something that can change from person to person or thing to thing. And quantitative variables are the type of variables that you can count or measure using numbers. They're either discrete, meaning whole numbers that you count, or continuous, meaning any amount that you can measure, including the decimals. Learning the difference helps you do better when working with quantitative data, from figuring out which statistical test to use to What's the best way to interpret this data analysis? It's kind of like understanding the rules to a board game before playing them. It's probably best that you don't make things up as you go and you read the instructions before playing. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I will try to upload a video every Wednesday. Once again, I'm Professor Phoebe. Stay curious and see you later. Bye.